Caroline Leavitt, who has effectively just become the North Korean news anchor, tweeted this. Prices are steadying and wages are climbing. New DoorDash report shows. DoorDash has effectively replaced every other statistical bureau in the federal government, which is really sad. Like, why the fuck is DoorDash? Why the fuck is DoorDash even sniffing the Trump administration? This got tabbed with a community note. Misleading, the report actually shows rising food prices. Average price of a cheeseburger, a soda, and fries increased 3.8% year over year in September 25, while typical restaurant meals rose about 3.2%. I'm not going to read this article because this article is bullshit. It's literally a propaganda piece. So what we're going to do is instead actually look at the DoorDash report, the state of local commerce powered by DoorDash. This is all of their tabulation, all of their data. We're not going to look through all of this, but be warned, this is some real nerd shit going on. But I wanted to highlight this because this is how you misinterpret data. This is not necessarily lying, but lying by omission. You will notice this when we get to the breakfast chart. DoorDash refuses to include the price of coffee in their breakfast chart, which is strange because do you not associate coffee with breakfast? Literally, every person that I fucking know has coffee as a part of their breakfast. Like myself included, my wife, everyone in my family, all of my friends who drink coffee, that's not included in this report. So again, we're not going to look at everything. But we need to tap into this for a second. This is the chart. As you can see, price of a cheeseburger going up, soda staying stagnant, French fries about stagnant. Breakfast basics. DoorDash's breakfast basics index, 3 eggs, a glass of milk, a bagel, and an avocado, captures the average price of a basket of grocery items, and the everyday essentials index, toothpaste, shampoo, toilet paper, yada yada. The breakfast basics increase has decreased 14% from March to September, driven largely by the decrease in the price of eggs. Over the course of 12 months ending in September, the national index has dropped about 1.7%. They meant like these percentages, 1.7%. They mentioned that the price of gas is down 2%. It doesn't fucking matter. That is too small of a percentage to be meaningful. The price of gas being down 2% means that instead of it costing $3 a gallon, it is going to cost $2.94 per gallon. If you have to fill up 14 gallons every time you go to the fucking gas station, and you times that by 0.06, do you know what you're saving? 84 fucking cents. You're not saving anything. It'd be different if the price of gas went from $3 to $2.25. That would be fucking noteworthy. This is just fucking propaganda. And again, bagel. I don't something really funny about just bagel. Like nothing else, just bagel. Price is stagnant. Milk, stagnant. Avocados, pretty much stagnant. Again, the only reason this has changed is because of the fucking price of eggs. And guess what? The price of eggs is virtually the same as it was a year ago. What does that highlight to me? Corporate price gouging, of course, because why the fuck wouldn't corporations price gouge? There's no fucking incentive for them not to price gouge. Like there's no mechanism in place to make sure that these corporations do not fucking extort the consumer. Some groceries and retail goods are actually cheaper than they were a year ago. Look at these graphs, Nickelback style. Pantry, electronics, lifestyle. In maroon, or I'm just going to call it red. I'm not getting into the fucking weeds with these colors. In red is where they were last year. Blue is where they are in 2025. If you notice, there's no fucking difference. The differences are so minuscule. They are so minuscule, in fact, that people will not fucking notice them. Because again, a 1% difference is not changing anything when people are going to the supermarket, when people are going to Target or to Walmart. It's virtually the same fucking thing. I stressed this same point when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tried to gaslight all of us into thinking that shit was not expensive still. They would come out and they would say, inflation is down to 2.3%, Jack. Inflation is normal again, Jack. Meanwhile, you're still paying $7 for 12 fucking eggs. It doesn't matter what inflation is if the cost of that good is still high. Inflation is a relative metric. Inflation is not indicative of whether or not the current price is good. It's only indicating a change in the price of that good. Inflation could be 12%, could be 2%. If eggs are still expensive, eggs are expensive. Eggs are expensive. Like, this report doesn't fucking do anything for me. Like, look at this. Pantry. Baking. I don't know what the like, okay, baking. What are we baking? Instead of $4.90, it looks like it's $4.80 for baking. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, look at these charts, man. There's nothing of substance here. Oh my God. Restaurant price increases have slowed substantially in 2025. Well, guess what, bro? It is still expensive to fucking go out and eat. And then they have some other shit like, oh, there are fewer businesses closing. It's like, yeah, that's great. I'm glad that, people are remaining employed, kind of. Dashing works for a variety of people, yada yada, what it means for communities, yada yada. People who moved to San Francisco, what the? Dude, I didn't look at the whole, like, once they started talking, like, once DoorDash started fucking glazing, I was like, I don't give a shit about this anymore. It's really funny that they're like, oh, we have more restaurants joining DoorDash now, and they're only increasing their prices a little bit because restaurants increase their prices on fucking DoorDash depending on what DoorDash and Uber Eats charges them. If McDonald's has to pay a 7% service fee on DoorDash, guess what? They're listing all of their food for 7% more on DoorDash because they have to maintain the margin. I just fucking hate DoorDash. Oh my God, it's so bleak that the White House is citing DoorDash for fucking economic news. Let's go ahead. We're gonna listen to some British guy talk about this because Fox Business always has British people on for some reason. This is still pertinent to affordability. They're talking about this. They're talking about affordability. Actually, Fox News contributor calls out Trump's claims on affordability. Quote, the message that it's not a problem is a problem.
It's much less expensive under Trump. And I haven't been here long. 9 months is not a long time. But look at what I've done to energy. Look at the price of gasoline.
Are Republicans not selling?
The price of energy is up like 5% or something. 6%. So, wrong.
Yes, the Republicans don't talk about it. And I say it all the time. Republicans have to talk about the fact that prices are down.
Okay, so how would you rate the messaging coming out of the White House on this? When we do look at energy prices, they are down. There is no doubt. Crude oil prices down 23% since Inauguration Day. Gas prices are now down. They're down about 2% since
2%. 2% is a win. I don't think there's anything in which an increase or a decrease of 2% is a win. Maybe if you have bonds, I think bonds is the only case where a 2% increase would be like notable. It's because bonds are a fucking historically safe investment. But like, think of it like this. I was going to say, like, if you have a 65 and, you get a 63 instead of a 65 on your test, like, it's still, that's, I guess, a loss because you go from passing barely to failing. But if you're in college, like, you've already fucking failed. If you're getting anything below a 70, you're fucking failing. It's like, if you get an 85 or an 87 instead of an 85, like, great, I guess, but you still got a good grade. Again, 2% on gas is fucking nothing. You're saving $6 a gallon. You can save more per gallon at ExxonMobil if you sign up for the fucking ExxonMobil gas card. That gives you 10 cent savings per gallon. This is not an ad. It's just an ad that I saw at the ExxonMobil gas station that I go to.
He took office, but people are still paying more for food and housing, and they don't feel great about it.
Overall inflation is a little bit higher than it was a year ago. According to the official data in the Consumer Price Index, almost exactly the same, but it's just a little over 3%, where it was a little under 3% a year ago when President Trump was elected.
Oh, by the way, before I forget,
so of course,
semi-pertinent to this, we are not getting a jobs report for October. No, what am I saying? I'm bugging. We are getting a jobs report, but it's for October of 2025, but it's not going to include the unemployment rate, which is fucking, I think it's terrific. I'm a big fan of government secrecy. I am a big fan of government lack of transparency. Yes, I'm being facetious. I think it's fucking ridiculous that they're going to release a jobs report and not include probably the most important economic metric. Unemployment rate is more important than consumer price index, probably. Maybe not, because that's reflective of how people are spending. I give more of a fuck about the employment rate than the GDP, for example. But yeah, that's just, to let y'all in on where we're really at with this administration.
Of course, that it's an average. It includes some things have definitely gone down, dramatically gone down. Gas prices, egg prices, which have gone down for particular reasons quite sharply.
2% is not drastic,
but many other
Baldy.
prices have continued to go up. I think that, again, inflation, that is the annual rate of price increases, is way below now where it was in those terrible days in the middle of the Biden administration when at one point it reached 9%. Well, we're still running at 3%. That's a high number for most Americans who, when they see that building on top of prices that are already much, much higher than they were 5 years ago before the pandemic. We have got a problem with affordability in this country. It is in health insurance. It is to some extent in housing. It is in many, many food prices. It is in some of the things that we're having to import. One of the reasons house prices are going up is because we import a lot of lumber to build houses. We need those houses to get the housing supply up and prices down. So I think that messaging that it's not a problem is a problem, because it is a problem for many Americans. They can see prices, they can see how expensive things are compared to where they were 5 years ago. They're not necessarily comparing it with 10 months ago when President Trump took office. They're thinking, these prices are still too high. My wages are not going up by as much as to enable me to pay for those prices. And I think the administration does have to do a better job of at least demonstrating that it understands it's a problem.
Donald Trump literally said to stop talking about affordability, which is great because, like, he campaigned on that shit, dude. He campaigned on it, and rightfully so, because guess what, man? Yeah, shit was very expensive last year, and it's still fucking expensive because Donald Trump does not give an actual fuck about anything. The reason that he's president is so that he doesn't go to fucking prison. The reason Republicans don't talk about affordability is because they know that their messaging is bullshit. And it's also that they don't do town halls because they get fucking dunked on every time they step out in public. Once politicians begin to realize that the voters' perception is their reality, the better they'll be able to legislate, I think. If someone goes to the store and thinks that they're paying too much for food, that's their reality. These eggs are too expensive, which they are. When someone's looking to buy a house and they look at the list price and they're like, this is too expensive, they're right. is up to the government to figure out a way to make living more affordable for these people, whether that be windfall profits tax on these corporations, which has been talked about vaguely in the past. That is effectively a tax on the corporation once they exceed a certain monetary threshold, whether it's on revenue, whether it's on profit. It is that excess profit is then redistributed back to the consumer in the form of a rebate. This is not foreign. This is not communist. This happens in fucking Alaska with the oil and gas companies. The oil and gas companies pay a rebate to the residents of Alaska because they are drilling their oil. They are taking this natural resource. You could do that same thing with these supermarkets, because if you don't, they're just going to take that excess profit and pay it out to shareholders, pay it out to investors, or do stock buybacks. They're going to let the fucking CEO buy another fucking yacht that his next wife can take in their divorce, and they're just going to hang the consumer out to dry. If the Trump administration wanted to tackle housing costs, for example, or make buying a home a little bit easier for people, they would offer down payment assistance. The hardest part of buying a home, and again, speaking from experience here, is having enough money to put a down payment, whether it's 10%, 15, 20%, so that you don't get hit with PMI, which albeit is not really that much. It's like $100 extra a month. Most people can't afford this down payment because they don't have enough money saved up, but they would be able to afford a potential mortgage because they're already paying like $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 a month in rent. Kamala Harris talked about doing this a little bit, and I kind of, I was happy when she was talking about that as a prospective home buyer. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition, but you're asking young people in their 30s and their 40s to be able to have just like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 to put down for this house, to cover the down payment, to cover the closing costs, and they're just not simply able to do that. The government should step in. The government should step in and provide some assistance, especially if you're a middle or a low income earner. But the Republican Party's platform does not run on that. This is the party of hatred. This is the party of fuck you, bitch. I hope that you die. And this is the pedophile protection party. As always, thank you guys so very much for coming to hang out. Everything I'm associated with is linked down below. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed any of the content. Both of those help out tremendously with the algorithm. If you're listening to this on Spotify, follow the show and leave a rating over there. As well, as always, stay safe, stay sane, and I will see you in the next one.